really sweet of you, she said, still shy but less so than a moment ago. The pleasure of our little exchange left me feeling better than I had been. I was fighting off a cold. I ordered my meal and started working. I'd been at it less than 10 minutes when the girl struggled with the glass door again and sidled up to my table. "Do you mind if I ask you a question?" she asked. "Do you want me to show you what I can draw?" Her artistic demonstrations quickly turned to conversation after I expressed admiration for her talents. Particularly nice was a crescent moon with pursed lips and a star hanging from the top tip, a lunar anglerfish tempting the universe to come closer. "Wow," I said. "You draw a lot better than I do." "Are you an artist?" she asked. "Well, yeah, but I'm a writer." "Can I see your writing?" she implored. Her name was Alejandra, which made me suspicious of the tale she spun about being from Egypt, a suspicion confirmed when she reported she had lived there for 130 years. She used the paper I'd given her to pen loosely pictographic characters. "What does it say?" I asked. "It says, 'Put something in your pocket.'" This was some kind of private joke she liked so much that she set it up with similar scrawls 5 minutes later so she could repeat the punchline. "It says, 'Put something in your pocket.'" The joke was funnier to both of us that time. She told me I could become good at drawing if I practiced hard, explaining that this is how Lady Gaga had gotten good at singing. She volunteered to help me, and so began my tutelage. She would sketch a couple of lines, then hand me the pen so I could copy her movements, encouraging me all the while. "That's really good," she exclaimed at just about every stroke. "See, I think you're getting better." Every one of my finished efforts was graded with a noseless smiley face, even the ones clearly undeserving of such kindness. She decided pretty early on that we would stay in touch and wrote down her phone number, though confessing to me that she didn't have an iPhone. Then she asked for my number. She drew a map showing the respective homes of her father and mother. They're separated, she told me. They had been to court, and now she spent 2 days with her father, then 2 days with her mother. On her map, she memorialized the consecutive days with little circles next to the tiny plus signs representing each parent's house. She drew a picture of her father's home, where she was staying currently. She told me it's white, and on the second floor, and that a neighbor lives below. She had to go to school tomorrow, she said, but I could go to the house and wait for her outside if I looked at the map and remembered that her house is white. "Can you remember?" she asked. I could see through the cafe's glass front wall that 2 of her adult companions had disappeared, leaving the one I guessed to be her father sitting by himself, surveying us unobtrusively. Eventually he stepped inside, and he and I made our introductions. He told Alejandra that it was time to go. "But I'm teaching him how to draw," she said, simultaneously respectful and resistant. "He needs to learn." 2 more minutes, her dad said, "but then we really have to go." And he left us to our lesson. "What do you want me to teach you?" she asked hurriedly. I was starving and my meal had gone cold, but I'm always loath not to accommodate an enthusiastic child. She attempted to show me how to draw a cat, but realized this was beyond her abilities. "What else do you want me to teach you?" she asked. "Please, no animals." We laughed. "You're fun," she giggled. "You're the funniest alien I've ever met." We drew efflorescences and double-scoop ice cream cones with cherries on top. She succeeded in getting me to reproduce her anthropomorphic moon. She looked over my shoulder to where her patient father was gesturing, now 10 minutes after he had retreated outdoors. "I'm going to leave you this paper so you can practice," she said. "You can copy it or you can trace it, like this." She took a napkin and placed it carefully over our sheet of art-making, meticulously reproducing one of the moons. "See?" she said. She tried to write my phone number on a napkin but encountered some difficulty, so I gave her one of my business cards. "I'm going to call you," she said, considering the little rectangle of cardstock with a precocious seriousness. Then she left, but 3 minutes later she struggled once more with the heavy door and came inside. She picked up the sheet of paper with her phone number on it and folded it 3 times. "I'm going to put this in your pocket so you don't forget," she said. And then she did just that. If her father had known me and had seen me with other children, he would never have thought twice about my interaction with his daughter. But I was a stranger to them both, indulging his daughter for what might have seemed an inordinately long time, so I can only wonder about the dark concerns that might have flickered through his mind, what he thought of a man my age giving his precious child a business card with phone numbers and an email address. Why did I ensure that Alejandra took with her my contact information? I think part of it has to do with that desire of mine to accommodate childhood enthusiasm. She asked for my phone number several times, So why not let her have it? Her father himself must have related to my accommodative leanings, as he could not have taken more care not to intrude upon his daughter's interaction with me. Then there's my interest in child, and more generally human, development and behavior, particularly as concerns language. I regularly volunteer to watch my friends' kids not only to give the parents a little break, but also to indulge my own intellectual curiosity. I think another part of it is my appreciation of what seems a childhood instinct, an innocent willingness to engage with you and accept you at face value. Whatever may actually be the case, generally it seems that unless and until it is bred out of us, children have an especial gift for at least trying to make known what they want, including whether they want you around, if only you don't stop them from doing so. I find a particular sort of relief in being on the receiving end of this interpersonal dynamic, as I'm someone whose personal psychological history leaves me feeling both relatively bereft of intuition in human affairs and pretty much completely unwilling to impose myself upon others. It's a combination I fear sometimes makes me seem to adults a bit aloof, but with children this seems to play as receptiveness, which it is, after all. Mostly, though, I think my giving Alejandra my number had to do with possibility. If that sounds creepy, look, I'll date young, but let's not get crazy. I'm talking about something more nebulous. As works of art like Grand Canyon tell us, we may be oblivious to when an important connection is made. And just what that connection is or what import it has may not be fully known until it has been played out. As Kierkegaard puts it, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. So here I was, by a unique chain of events living this particular moment among all possible moments. Even though I had originally planned on dinner at that particular cafe, on the drive there I caught a whiff of something that brought to mind sushi, which triggered the feeling that fish oils would do me good. But while sitting in Sushisaurus, I found the music and server slightly annoying, and they weren't willing to split the sushi sampler into a half order, and so I resorted to my original plan and walked into Aroma de Roma exactly when I did, thereby encountering the waist-high little artist who wanted something that, in the moment, only I was in a position to offer. And the rest is a tiny bit of history, even if it ends there, even if it is of no consequence beyond an encounter two little people enjoyed in that particular instance of space-time. I think my giving Alejandra my business card was mostly about the business of being open to possibility, to the unknown, to taking the next immediate, positive, embracing step just because one is able to. I offered Alejandra the paper because she wanted it. Alejandra chased down the possibility of sharing with me her artistic talents because I made a gesture she considered sweet. So it goes. Might that have led to a lifetime connection with her or her father or taken me on some more mysterious tangent? The point is that I couldn't know. And when she clamored for my phone number, I had two choices: no or yes. Ironically, the work I started just before my little comrade in arts interrupted me was the editing of a manuscript on the unsolved, unpunished, unrelenting hundreds of murders committed in the Juarez area of Mexico from 1993 to the present day. Murders perpetrated against women and girls largely because they are, or were, female. We live in such a world. And up walks this 7-year-old girl, soliciting a stranger simply because he has given 2 sheets about what she wants and she perceives him as safe and able to be engaged, a good guess or an instinct that happened to be right. In a world such as this, who am I to resist that? And in a world such as this, I think perhaps we need to embrace the positive to the nth degree, to embrace it and never preclude the possibility of even the smallest good in the tiniest corner of our little lives. I think our best strategic move is to say yes whenever we are able, yes to whatever might move us even momentarily to somewhere better, yes to increased connectivity in our community, yes to whatever we can afford to give, yes to the chance that it might matter, yes to the mystical moments, just yes and yes and yes.
That was I Met a Girl by Gregory Moore. I'd like to thank Gregory and Stan DeWitt for their contributions, and also to Stan's band Moonshine for You Wanted to Be. Speaking of connections, it's about time that you connect with me. Without your story, there is no tailspin, so please contribute. You can find us at our Facebook page or at my website, melaniehiller.com.